Okay, we were cut off a bit short during the last video because the break was a lot shorter than the chair told us it was going to be. So we've just had the further questions. Well, there was no further questions. Actually, it was just the re-examination and some comments by John Mitting to Bernard Renwick, which. I mean, well, I'm joined by Evelyn Lubbers from the Undercover Research Group again. But before we go on to everything else, I mean, I think those comments by the chair need to be addressed. They were quite shocking.
Yes, like what we didn't get to, like before in the last break, is that this was such a dignified and sort of really sort of very believable man, family man, and sort of wanted to emphasize that his was just a family campaign and that they just wanted justice and they want the police to be held to account. And they wanted them to say that he had, his brother had needed help and not being held down by 6 police officers and then die. So
he delivered it. I mean, he's like as John Mitting started off by saying, he was very calm. I mean, very calm witness, very articulate. But what John Mitting said went beyond that.
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize first that he indeed was very dignified. Then Mitting said, "Thank you for." It's always what he always says. It's always different to hear from people who went through all of this, and I'm really sorry for you. And then he thanked him specifically for showing no excessive emotion while giving his, doing it in the hearing, and that is just making me furious because he's doing that after the day where we had indeed a very emotional day with Sukhdev Reel and her daughter. And Sukhdev is like, yes, she broke into tears. She broke down various times, but it shows that what the hurt that has been done. And you can't just, as a chair of an inquiry, dig the witness from the day before while thanking the next witness. This is just, he's not impartial. It shows all the more that he can't stand strong women who are crying, which we've seen before. But it's just an impossible thing to say I'm so angry about this. It needs to be addressed. I don't know how exactly. That's up to the lawyers. But this chair is not impartial. He can only speak to people who are from his class or at least behave like that. If you've got strong women who have emotions and who've gone through so much and still have like the ability to say, to explain everything that they've went through, like Sukhdev Reel yesterday. We were all amazed, and there was a standing ovation from the public gallery yesterday. And Mitting really, he doesn't appreciate that sort of the order of his courtroom broken. But it was unacceptable.
Yeah, no, I mean, he specifically said that that he was impressed to see a lack of bitterness or anger being expressed by Bernard. I mean, just to use the word bitterness, really. I mean, that was particularly pointed, I thought. And really, yeah, just really suggested that somehow previous witnesses had been less credible in some manner because they had shown more emotion. I mean, it's clear that this was the first time that Bernard had given evidence about his brother. An event which happened over 25 years ago. He wasn't given the opportunity to speak at the inquest. And I mean, a lot has happened in in the thing for his brother, since his brother was killed by the police. So there is.
Well, everybody
deals things differently.
Yeah, everybody has their own way of grieving and their own way of setting up a campaign. And one of the things he emphasized was how his brother had been demonized by the police and in the press. That like they emphasized his emotional problems. He portrayed him like a beast that had to be restrained, while he was someone with mental health problems that needed help.
Yeah.
And their fight had been against that demonization and against all the racial aspects of that.
I mean, it was very pointed. The Met Police press office briefed the press that Roger had been a violent and vociferous man, that he'd been violent and vociferous and had struggled during the restraining. Witnesses to the restraint said that was not the case at all. He didn't struggle. He had no history of violence whatsoever. And those reports were then repeated in the press. The police had to apologize for that later on. I mean, there was also the thing about the pathologist going on into the media to allay public fears. That again, something that he was reprimanded for. There was also what I felt very strange was there was a direct question by Mitting to Bernard about the fact that though he thinks it was outrageous that the undercover police spying took place, he nevertheless agreed that it was accurate. And he said, well, that it was accurate that the family was the way that the family were moderates, the fact that the family didn't want to get involved in any wider campaign with other people. They supported other family justice campaigns and they had people come to their marches, but they didn't get involved with Movement for Justice. That part was correct. Well, and then he had to get his own lawyer to re-examine to point out that the reports did feed into this racial prejudice, the fact that it was predominantly young black people of both genders who were attending, young black youths, which are double, whatever, that were attending the hearings. I mean, one thing you didn't point out as well is that we were shown the reports today repeatedly again, failing to spell the name of the dead person correctly, something which HN81, Dave Hagan, repeatedly managed to fail to do. Sylvester is not a complicated name to spell, yet he spells it wrong almost every single time. That there were plenty of factual inaccuracies in the reports, but the overall tone was probably around right, and it was like the Mitting was grasping onto this.
Yeah, it kind of fed into what he said to Dev Reel yesterday, that can be summarized as don't hold too high hopes. Like you're probably not gonna get the justice that you hope that you think you will get, because I'm only human. And also there was this there's one side and there's the other side, and we have to believe HN81, which they don't want to call as a witness. So it gives all this in combination. If you listen closely to Mitting and read between the lines, this leaves a very nasty taste.
Very nasty indeed. I mean, I think just to say, Bernard did a great job. There wasn't a huge amount of reports on the family, so that it was a short session. We will be going back in soon with another witness, SS, who was a family member, part of the family justice campaign for Michael Menson. I don't know. It's unclear who they are. It'll be a closed hearing, and it won't be a closed hearing. It'll be a privacy hering, so it'll just be audio that's broadcast, I believe. We won't be able to see the witness, and they're rearranging the hearing room. But I'll be doing reaction videos from that. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Bernard's evidence this morning?
Oh, well, just that I'm angry.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's angry. I mean, it is. I mean, there was a lot of shock in the public gallery just as we were coming out. Now, obviously all the lawyers are in the same space as we come through, and I mean, a lot of shock. One of the lawyers expressed that they had to check the transcript to make sure that they could actually believe because they couldn't believe what they were hearing the chair saying. I mean, just for those who are not familiar with legal settings, it's a strange thing to do. Quite shocking. Just trying to get the hang of this technology. You can see the comment. Someone Zoe Young in the room as part of the screen. Yeah. But you really start. I mean, it is shocking, really. Praising the stiff upper lip. It is like a public school boy tone.
Yeah, the word he used was no rancor, no bitterness, or excessive emotion.
Yeah, no rancor, no bitterness, no excessive emotion. I doubt you're being picked up because of these new microphones. But it's. Do you want to come on and say anything?
Only to say,
come on screen.
Just public school. Don't show emotion. You can be having the most shit time, and you just, as long as you keep the stiff upper lip, you go to the top of the British establishment. But if you show emotion, if you express any bitterness, it's and that's what's valued. That's what's valued, you know. And these witnesses have each had their own lives, their own experiences, and their own responses, and that is not a problem, you know. They're allowed to be who they are and express how they want to express without it being implicitly or quietly judged. I think, like everyone, I'm furious. That's why I'm jumping in.
The hearing is restarting, so we better go. We'll see you later on today. Cheers.